If you were a teenager in the 2010s, you didn't just know Forever 21, you lived it. The yellow shopping bags were everywhere. Its giant stores dominated entire wings of shopping malls. 90,000 square feet of crop tops, bodycon dresses, and $5 jewelry stretched over multiple floors. The fitting rooms overflowed, the music pounded, and if you looked closely, you'd find a Bible verse, John 3 verse 16, printed quietly on every bag. Forever 21 wasn't just a store. It was a phenomenon. At its peak, the brand had 800 stores in 48 countries, employed over 43,000 people, and generated more than $4 billion in annual revenue. All of it was built by two Korean immigrants who arrived in Los Angeles with no English and just $11,000 to their name. By 2025, every Forever 21 store in the US had closed. The empire was dismantled in just 106 days. The story of Forever 21 is more than a business tale. It's a story about family ambition, control, and the devastating cost of refusing to let go. In 2015, Forever 21 was a giant, worth nearly $6 billion. Duan and Sook Chang, the founders, owned 99% of it. That control gave them unmatched power, but it also planted the seeds of destruction. While other retailers went public or welcomed private equity, the Changs kept full control. Every decision passed through them. Duan approved every single lease, even after the store count surpassed 500. He reviewed lunch receipts. He controlled everything. His private office sat at the top floor of their Los Angeles headquarters, quiet and restricted. Sook ruled the floor below as the brand's creative force. Every buyer passed through security checks. Windows were kept shuttered. Power, discipline, and total control. These were the pillars of the Chang Empire. And they lived modestly. Their Beverly Hills mansion was their only major personal asset. No yachts, no jets, no luxury real estate portfolios. Duan believed in reinvestment, not indulgence. But when all of their wealth was tied up in Forever 21 stock, that discipline would later become a liability. Culturally, the brand was unstoppable. Between 2005 and 2015, Forever 21 ranked among U.S. teens' top favorite clothing brands. Prime locations like Fifth Avenue and Times Square added to the hype. The inclusion of a Bible verse on every bag added a quiet, almost poetic layer to the shopping experience. To buy something at Forever 21 wasn't just a purchase, it was a subtle statement of faith. Duan Chang was born in 1954, just after the Korean War ended. He grew up in poverty, delivering coffee in Seoul to support his family. College was never an option. Sook, his future wife, worked as a hairdresser. They married young, sharing a hunger for something bigger than what post-war Korea could offer. In 1981, they arrived in Los Angeles with green cards, no college degrees, and limited English. Duan was 27. Sook was 25. They had $11,000 in savings, scraped together through sheer sacrifice. Life in America was brutal. Duan worked 3 jobs, mornings washing dishes, afternoons at a gas station, nights cleaning offices. Sook styled hair. Together, they fought for a chance. The breakthrough came at that gas station. Duan noticed something. The people in luxury cars were mostly in the garment industry. He asked questions. He got a job at a clothing store. He worked like it was his own, learning everything. Wholesale, trends, margins. 3 years later, with $11,000 in savings again, they took the risk. They opened a 900-square-foot store in Highland Park, Los Angeles. The previous owner made $30,000 a year there. The Changs made $700,000 in their first year. They called it Fashion 21. It catered to the Korean-American community they understood so well. Sook sourced designs reminiscent of Korean trends, and they sold them cheap. They worked 16-hour days. They prayed at church every morning before opening the store. In 1987, the rebrand to Forever 21 marked a turning point. Old people want to be 21 again. Young people want to stay 21 forever, Duan said. That simple insight would unlock a new world of customers and ignite an era of explosive growth. Forever 21's rise was relentless. In 1989, the Changs opened their first mall-based store in Panorama City, 6 times larger than their original space. As America's mall culture boomed, so did Forever 21. By reinvesting every dollar of profit, they opened one new store every 6 months throughout the 1990s, without taking on outside investors. In 2005, they bought Gadooks for $33 million, instantly doubling their store count. Their real estate strategy became legendary. Taking over failed department store locations, Saks, Mervyn's, Dillard's, and turning them into colossal Forever 21 flagships. The one in Times Square spanned 4 floors and 90,000 square feet. Las Vegas? Even bigger. Marble floors, chandeliers, spiral staircases. It looked more like a luxury hotel than a discount fashion retailer. By 2015, the company reached 794 stores in 48 countries, employed 43,000 people, and made over $4.4 billion annually. And through it all, the Changs kept control. Duan still approved every lease. The original Highland Park store still operated under the name, Fashion 21, as a nostalgic symbol of where it all began. But behind the gold-plated image, cracks were forming. Between 2007 and 2019, Forever 21 was hit with more than 50 copyright lawsuits. High-profile designers like Diane von Furstenberg and Gwen Stefani accused them of copying designs. The brand's model was simple: replicate the hottest looks at a fraction of the price. But the legal bills were stacking up, some estimate over $100 million in settlements. Labor controversies didn't help. A national boycott in the early 2000s protested sweatshop conditions. In 2017, a Department of Labor investigation found violations in 85% of Forever 21's LA suppliers. Over $1 million in back wages had to be paid. Still, the Changs pressed forward. They believed their daughters, Linda and Esther, would one day take over. But even as they received Ivy League educations and took executive roles, all final decisions still came from their parents. Titles were granted, but power was never handed over. On paper, the succession plan looked strong. Linda and Esther Chang had the degrees, the titles, and the experience. But inside the company, they had no real authority. Linda was executive VP, but every strategic move still required her father's signature. Esther oversaw merchandising, yet Sook regularly overruled her designs. Then came a decision that would fracture everything. In 2015, as financial pressures mounted, Duan and Sook quietly borrowed $5 million each from their daughters' personal trusts. The interest rate? Just 2%, far below the market. The loans weren't even secured. If Forever 21 collapsed, the girls would lose everything. The conflict was clear. The daughters owed legal duties to Forever 21, but now had personal investments tied directly to their parents. The timing couldn't have been worse. That same year, the company turned down a potential partnership with Ariana Grande. Instead, they chose Iggy Azalea. 4 years later, Grande sued Forever 21 for $10 million after the brand hired a lookalike model to imitate her style. Meanwhile, global expansion was spinning out of control. From just 7 international stores in 2005, Forever 21 ballooned to 262 across 40 countries by 2015. But the new stores bled money, $100 million in average annual losses between 2014 and 2018. The mistakes were often shocking. German stores opened without realizing most retailers their close on Sundays, instantly cutting revenue by a seventh. European labor costs were triple those in the US, making Forever 21's low prices unsustainable. Digitally, the company lagged badly. In 2018, only 16% of its sales came from e-commerce, compared to competitors reaching 30 to 40%. Customers in-store couldn't even check stock at other locations. While H&M brought designs to stores in 7 weeks, Forever 21 took 20. In fast fashion, that kind of delay is fatal. Consulting firms were brought in: McKinsey, Bain, BCG. They made clear, urgent recommendations. Most of them were ignored. The Changs paid for expert advice, but didn't follow it. Their belief in their own judgment was absolute, and it was leading them straight into disaster. Forever 21's oversized stores, once a symbol of ambition, had become anchors dragging it down. 70 locations exceeded 35,000 square feet. Just 6 of them, in former department store sites, had leases extending into 2027 and 2028, with annual occupancy costs pushing $450 million. The world was changing. Gen Z no longer flocked to malls. They demanded authenticity, inclusivity, and ethical production. Brands like Fenty Beauty celebrated diversity. Digitally native companies offered cleaner products, tighter communities, and faster service. Forever 21, with its disposable $5 tops and outdated formulas, felt irrelevant. In September 2019, the company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They were drowning in $1.5 billion in debt. Over the next 6 years, Forever 21 began pulling out of markets: Germany, Spain, Belgium, Ireland, Japan, Thailand, even South Korea, the Chang's homeland. In 2020, Forever 21's operating company was sold for $81 million to a consortium of mall landlords and brand managers. Just 5 years earlier, the brand had been valued at over $4.4 billion. The Chang's personal stake, once worth nearly $6 billion, had dwindled to $80 million. They lost all control, all voting rights. Even their daughters' loans were classified as unsecured. Linda and Esther recovered just 18 cents on the dollar. Still, there was hope for revival. In 2023, fast fashion giant Shein acquired a 1/3 stake in Forever 21's parent group. Pop-ups were launched, and Shine items appeared on Forever 21's marketplace. Customers could return Shine orders in Forever 21 stores. But nothing worked. The core product and strategy were broken. By late 2024, more than 11% of supplier invoices were over 91 days overdue. Manufacturers stopped shipping. On Valentine's Day 2025, liquidation sales began. By April 30th, all 354 U.S. stores were gone. The Los Angeles headquarters shut down. Hundreds of employees were laid off. Duan and Jean Sook had lost everything. From nearly $6 billion in 2015 to barely $500 million by 2025, mostly tied up in a single Beverly Hills mansion. They hadn't just lost a company. They had lost the dream. In 1981, Duan Chang noticed something at a gas station. People in the garment business drove luxury cars. That simple observation lit the fire behind Forever 21. But in the end, he lost everything because he stopped noticing. Stopped listening. Stopped evolving. The yellow shopping bags are gone. The pounding music has faded. The Bible verses once printed beneath each bag, verses that quietly whispered faith into fashion, now live only in memory. The grand stores that once ruled America's malls stand empty, their marble floors and chandeliers gathering dust, waiting for the next brand to try and do what Forever 21 once did. The fall of Forever 21 wasn't a single mistake. It was a series of ignored warnings. A refusal to loosen grip. A belief that the formula that built an empire could defy time, trend, and change. The tragedy isn't just about money. It's about a family who built something extraordinary but couldn't let it grow beyond them. In trying to preserve their legacy, they erased it. And yet, the story of Forever 21 remains unforgettable. Not just as a cautionary tale, but as a testament to the power of immigrant grit, relentless ambition, and the high price of unchecked control.